Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Jubin, and in this episode of the Azure Databricks series, we are going to look at how to open our workspace, create our first notebook, and let's get started. So in the last video, we created our workspace, but in this video, we will look at how to create a notebook. So before we do that, what is a notebook? Uh, it's a document where you create and run code one small piece at a time. So it has cells, it can support multiple languages, it gives you instant result, and it is shared and collaborative. So each piece is called a cell, which we will look at in a bit. And Databricks notebook support four languages: Python, SQL, Scala, and R, even mixed in one notebook. So you can't just have one full Python, you can have multiple languages in one notebook, which is pretty nice. You don't have to manage the installation. Of course, you have to install the dependencies and everything, but you don't have to manage any kind of installation or configuration like you would do in your when you are creating maybe an instance on Azure or AWS. With Databricks, it makes very easy. And when you run a cell, you see instant results immediately below it, and notebooks can be shared with more than one person. So, um, in this video, we will look at Apache Spark and run a PySpark program. So, before I'm going to give you a little bit overview of what Apache Spark is. It's an open source distributed data processing engine designed to process very large data set across clusters of computers. So it enables data engineers, analysts, data scientists to perform batch processing, streaming, SQL queries, machine learning, and graph processing much faster than traditional disk-based system in Apache Hadoop. So how does it work? It has Spark executor and it has a cluster manager, and then there is a Spark application, Spark driver, and Spark session. So at high level, Spark works by splitting data sets into partitions, distributing those partitions across multiple worker nodes in a cluster, which the cluster manager does, and then processing that data in parallel and combining those results back to a final output. So it uses something called as RDDs, which because Spark performs much of its computation in memory, it is significantly faster, which like in memory, that's what I meant by RDDs. It is significantly faster than the older MapReduce systems for many workloads. And what is PySpark? PySpark is a Python API for Apache Spark. Instead of writing Spark applications in Scala or Java, developers can write in Python while leveraging Spark distributed execution engine. So here is how the net notebook actually runs your code. You write the code in a cell, you attach your notebook to the compute. This can be cluster or serverless compute, and you see the output instantly. And this loop is an entire workflow to write, run, see, result, and repeat. And before we run any code, your notebook run needs to attach compute to it. So there are two compute options, and there are two types of compute, which is classic clusters, and where you choose the machine size, you control it when it starts and stops, good for heavy and custom jobs. This is what we have currently in our free trial version. And serverless compute is you don't need any sizing decisions. It starts in seconds, best for quick everyday work on what we use today. So let's go to the demo. In the last video we were doing the deployment. We created a deployment, a demo resource in the workspace. So let's look at what that resource looks like. So I'm just going back to this part and look at the deployment details. This is how I got there. And I click on the demo workspace and it shows all the details of my demo. Of my workspace. So you can look at activity log. If I have any activity there, you can look at IAM, tags, and resource visualizer. And in the overview, You also have access to the documentation and getting started guide and import data from file. So all of this documentation is very nice to read if you um, want to get started. So you can read in more detail about what are the applications, what Azure Databricks is, and getting started tutorials on Azure Databricks. You can actually follow these tutorials. And yeah, now we're going to launch the workspace. And yeah, this is our workspace that is how it looks like. And now we can ask uh, it, it is a AI assistant to which we can ask or search or maybe write some code. And now we will create a notebook. So I'll call it demo notebook and leave the date as it is. And I'm selecting the language as Python, but you can also have SQL, Scala, and R. And yeah, I'll write the code and then I will write something like Spark dot range 10 and then let's run it. Going to do display. Let's wait for a few more seconds. Yeah, so it creates a data frame, but let's run the display. So it actually displays it. So it's running Spark on the back end and you can see the tasks that it's running. Probably it's doing some caching, but it's using Spark. And we can also see the performance of this, that what's going on. So it took 4 seconds to run the Spark program. But if I were to run a Python range query, so I in range 10, and then going to display this. So it should print all the numbers 0 to 9. Yep. So this is much faster. And because it's just a simple Python program, it runs in milliseconds. But for this one, it has to initialize Spark as well. So, and you can also switch a programming language over here to SQL. So changing default language render call without Python declaration is invalid. So currently executing commands will be terminated and notebook state will be cleared. So I don't want to do that, but I can change the language. So because the default over here is Python, but we can run SQL over here. We can run Scala here. We can run R here. So, and then we can also run Python, and then we can also have Markdown. So you can have an MD file here and have some heading one, and then let's render it. So it shows heading like this. So yeah, that's it for this video. Um, and a quick recap, what we saw the live demo of running a Python PySpark program, and and yeah, hope you found this tutorial helpful. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. See you in the next video where we will load some real data and start the transformation. So take care and yeah, see you soon.